All right, back to what I was talking about before the break, some of this Christian insanity in this country. And again, as you know, I despise religion. I truly do, because to me, religion has been one of the most destructive forces that human beings have used against each other since the whole bunch of bullshit of religion was invented. And the Abrahamic religions have been, in my opinion, some of the bloodiest, all three of them, but especially Christianity. I hate this. I hate what religion teaches its adherents to do. It teaches you first and foremost who you're supposed to hate. But a far-right nationalist Christian, in other words, a Christian terrorist representative in the U.S. House, she's from Pennsylvania. She is citing the Bible to explain her vote against specific legislation. Yeah, this makes sense, doesn't it? It is Representative Stephanie Borowicz. She is from New York, I believe. Pennsylvania. And she's quoted as saying this, quote, "When Democrats are pushing bills like banning gas-powered mowers and gas-powered stoves in New York City, all under the name of a climate control agenda, we all can see what is really going on there. The truth is," she goes on, "the truth is, in Genesis 8:22, it says, quote, 'As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease,' end quote." She goes on. So I'll say that again, will never cease. Of course, we are to be good stewards of God's creation, but not enough, and not through a forceful climate control global agenda, end quote. Now, this crazy bitch, Stephanie Borowicz, this Christian fascist, this Christian demon, who, like so many Christian fascists, supports the destruction of the earth, supports the destruction of life on this planet, because to these insane fundamentalist Christians, that's the only way they're going to get into their goddamn fucked up heaven. If everything here is burned into nothing but charred bodies and smoldering ashes, then they'll be happy, because according to them, at that point, their Messiah returns. That is mental derangement, if ever it existed. But they're in our Congress. This crazy woman, this Stephanie Borowicz, figured prominently in last year's report by Mother Jones magazine that was headlined, quote, "Christian nationalists are closer than you think to running America," end quote. And back in 2019, on the day that this crazy woman was in the Pennsylvania state legislature, at the same time, the first Muslim woman who was sworn into office into the Pennsylvania state legislature, Borowicz, delivered the morning prayer. And in that prayer, she used the name of Jesus Christ 13 times while asking her demonic God to, quote, "forgive us for allowing a Muslim into the Pennsylvania state legislature." And last year, this Christian devil, Stephanie Borowicz, introduced a so-called Don't Say Gay bill. Well, at the same time, she bragged that it went even further than the Florida bill did, the one sponsored and pushed by the Christian devil who's the governor there, Ron DeSantis. And Borowicz also called for the Pennsylvania Secretary of Education to resign because, quote, LGBTQ inclusive curricula and other resources were featured on the Pennsylvania Department of Education website. End quote. So the Secretary of Education for the state of Pennsylvania should resign. This is what these demon religious people do. And again, it doesn't make any difference what religion. In India, it is the Hindu fanatics who are doing everything they can to slaughter Muslims. Oh, Christ, why go on? Several weeks ago, I think it was just last month, this crazy woman, Borowicz, stated several lies about COVID-19 in another speech, explaining her opposition to any kind of protection where it concerns COVID-19. This time to what appears to be a resolution directing a state commission to, quote, conduct a study on Pennsylvania's preparedness to respond to public health emergencies, end quote. She said this, quote, we do not need a study by the same government that did this to its people. You guys are the ones who messed everything up. Now you want to study it? I will tell you what you did wrong. People died because basic medicines were withheld from them, like ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine and steroids. Oh, Jesus Christ. End quote. And of course, studies like the ones ordered by the Pennsylvania Department of Health have shown over and over that these drugs she mentioned, ivermectin, which is what, a animal deworming agent, and hydroxychloroquine, neither of them decreases the number of in-hospital stays, and in fact, adds to respiratory deterioration and death. That's what is loose in our House of Representatives. She went on to say, according to a radio station in Pennsylvania, quote, you shut businesses down and you shuttered them and told them who was and wasn't essential by a government. Even though Governor Wolf's small business stayed open, it was tyrannical. End quote. Also, this crazy Christian demon, Borowicz, she was apparently referring here to Admiral Rachel Levine, the U.S. Assistant Secretary for Health. Borowicz said, quote, Dr. Levine took his own mom out of a nursing home and saved her, but left others in a nursing home unable to see their family only through windows. Of course, she's referring to a woman using male pronoun because she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. And she added this, quote, and some of them passed away that way. It's horrifying. You masked our kids and we had to file a lawsuit just so they could go to school and breathe when the virus didn't even affect them, end quote. Didn't even affect them. Between January 2020 and June 2023, 1,642 children in the United States died of COVID-19. But to a crazy son of a bitch like this Borowicz animal, Stephanie Borowicz, who says the Bible tells her that there's no reason to worry about global warming, to her, no children died. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.